Clinging to life with 6 losses, the Florida Storm welcome SFL Nation and the Baltimore Vultures to Fort Lauderdale for tonight's primetime matchup between Florida and Baltimore. The Vultures, 7-3, are battling just about everyone for playoff positioning. Alongside Robert Garrett Jr. on stats, Charles Doherty on analysis. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Cameron Irvine. How you doing tonight, Charles?
Oh, I'm doing spectacular. How about you, Cam?
I'm doing great, and we have seen a ton of action all across the SFL today. Florida now, at the start of the week, were one of 8 teams at 4-6. Now they're one of 4 teams at 4-6 as things seem to be shuffling all around them. Florida now gets their chance to make a statement here tonight.
Yeah, tonight we have the Baltimore Vultures coming into the eye with a 3-game winning streak, a clinched playoff berth, but they're fighting for position. They're facing the Storm with a 2-game winning streak and in the unfamiliar position of fighting for a wild card berth. This game is featuring 2 outstanding quarterbacks in Baltimore Hall of Fame quarterback Dazzo, in my opinion, Hall of Fame quarterback Ron Cochran with Florida. They're deadly accurate and efficient. I see some key matchups tonight. I want to see how Baltimore blocking schemes keep out the Florida defensive ends in Dominguez and Tamello. And Florida inside linebacker Frank Champion is going to have a long day trying to bring down Baltimore halfback extraordinaire Troy Gaines.
Kickoff is moments away. The ball's on the tee and the head's in the air. Let's kick it. We're underway. Return past the 20, 25, 30 to Bolt out to the 30-yard line. And that is where Baltimore will start with the football and settle in. We're ready for some great action all night long.
Yeah, Baltimore offense is doing great this season. They're second in points per game, tied for third in third down percentage, and Troy Gaines is just a beast.
1st and 10 at the 30, 10:54 to go in the first. Dazzo drops back to pass caught by Holder. Pick up a 4, and let's meet the rest of the Baltimore Vultures. Offense led by Mike Dazzo in his 9th season, the signal caller for the boys in red and black and white. Troy Gaines, the running back. Receivers outside, Ivory Irvin, number 10. Bailey Holder, number 87. Mac Chima, number 88. The tight end to keep an eye on tonight, Lloyd Graham Jr. Their kicker, number 19, Shark Tarkington. 2nd down and 6 at the 34. Off the 4-yard reception by Holder. Dazzo split back shotgun. Will fire another pass. Deep middle. It's intercepted at the 45-yard line, being brought back by Tobin to the Baltimore 34. And Ryan Tobin continues his absolutely stellar season.
Incredible defense by the free safety there. He was standing. I don't think Dazzo saw him standing there. He got his 8th interception. That was much needed by Florida. They got to pump some life, get some momentum starting off in this first quarter to take it to a win.
So quickly, a 1st down at the 34 by Florida, trailing Baltimore by 3 games. They won't be able to catch them in the standings this season, but Florida certainly has gone toe-to-toe with Baltimore over the years as Cochran fires it long. It's off the hands of Stephen Bush in a rare drop, and I want to revisit Ryan Tobin. He had about 25 more interception return yards on that last play, and as we were saying, I mean, he is a flipper of the field and has been the most essential piece of this secondary this season.
Yeah, he's it's hard to throw balls away from him because he's such a big presence out there physically. One of the tallest guys at his position.
2nd down and 10 at the 34-yard line. And Cochran will fire it outside, caught by Bush out to the 21-yard line. So Stephen Bush has a 1st down. Hendricks Thornberry on the tackle, and we're going to maybe get another look at that. No, we'll go back to the huddle.
Yeah, Cochran has a tough game ahead of him throwing against that secondary of Baltimore. I think what the play calling so far has been pretty smart. Don't try and push it too far downfield.
Cochran, 3-step drop, fires it outside, and a big hit by Thornberry on the running back, Connor Weston. Let's meet the Florida Storm offense. Ron Cochran in his 6th season. J.W. Doyle had one of his biggest games of his career last time these two teams squared off. Wide receivers on the outside, Stephen Bush, number 11, Robert Merrill, number 12. Number 88, Optimus Klein, who's been very quiet in recent weeks. E.J. Minson, the tight end. Kicker is Ethan Sneed. 4 wide here for Cochran on a 2nd down and 8. That pass is caught, and trying to get the first down was Merrill. He comes up just short. The last time Florida hit the field, Charles, Optimus Klein had no catches. What's up with that?
Yeah, that's incredible. But, again, Cochran is a surgeon out there. Most quarterbacks would have fallen down or tried to run out of the pocket with that amount of pressure, but he was able to keep his composure and get the ball to Merrill.
3rd down and inches. Cochran fires outside, caught by Klein. Right on cue, an 8-yard pickup and a 1st and goal with the 3, and the Storm are 3 yards away from scoring a touchdown off the Mike Dazzo interception, which is rare for him this season.
Yeah, let's see if they keep the passing game trying to get in the end zone there, or maybe they throw a wrinkle in, try and do a little bit of run with Doyle up the middle.
1st and goal at the 3. 2 in the backfield. Goal line look here for Baltimore. And Cochran will drop back to pass, fire it. Caught for a touchdown.
Wow.
In the back of the end zone, that is tight end Mark Myers with the score and drags the feet like a pro.
I mean, with catches like that, Cam, he's got to get more playing time, because that was an all-pro reception there on the end zone line.
6-0. Florida takes the lead. And Ethan Sneed's extra point is up and good. So the Storm turn an interception into a touchdown. And the 3-time champions are on a roll early. You're watching the Simulation Football League and 11 Sports, and For the Fans. We'll be back in a moment. .8:30 to go in the first quarter, and Florida's out to a fast start, 7-0 over the visiting Baltimore Vultures. From 1 yard outside the end zone, Bolt on the return out to the 25 and then pushed all the way backwards, but they'll give him forward progress to the 25. Well, the last time these two teams played was the last time Baltimore lost a game by more than 2 scores, September 23rd of last year. Doyle had a $115 in that game with 2 touchdowns, and Gaines was held to his lowest output against the Storm ever, 56 yards.
Yeah, and so far in the brief time in the first quarter, Florida is dominating both sides of the ball.
Dazzo fires it outside to Irvin, who shakes one initially and then gets haunted by the ghosts of Christmas past for no gain.
He did the electric slide into the backfield.
Back to the 25-yard line. Second down and 10 off the not incompletion, but might as well should be labeled as such, as T-Roy Gaines gets the ball for no gain. And let's meet that Florida Storm defense, and it is a vicious one, holding opponents to under 20 points a game. Alex Dominguez in his 7th season, along with Alessandro Tomaello on the line. Linebackers include Nicholas Warner and Frank Champion. Secondary, Ryan Davidson, Evan Carroll, Ryan Tobin, Jeff Melanish, and Andrew Francis. And the punter, Marcus Agrippa, punters are people too, can't forget about him, as Dazzo fires it down the field, caught by Lloyd Graham Jr. The tackle made by Carroll at the end of it, but Baltimore will get their first move of the chains of the night up to the 40.
Yeah, to add on to your comments about the Florida defense, like you said, they're 4th in the league in points allowed per game, and they're tied for 3rd in rushing touchdowns a game, and they're going up against a beast, like I said at the start of T-Roy Gaines. Let's see who breaks in this match.
1st and 10 at the 40, 6:58 to go in the first. 2 receivers, 1 to either side, and Dazzo will flip it out to Holder. That pass may have gotten deflected at the line, but it just barely did get to Holder on the outside. 2nd and 3.
Yeah, the one thing I love about this game is you've got 2 veteran quarterbacks in Dazzo and Cochran. Just they stand in the pocket even when it's breaking down, and are able to get off crisp passes and accurate passes in the face of such mounting danger.
2nd down and 3, handoff. Oh, Gaines got rid of one. That was Champion, but still didn't go anywhere. Evan Carroll's got a couple of tackles here early on, and that'll set up a 3rd and 4.
Yeah, Champion's going to be a key linchpin here in stopping Gaines from getting any big rushing production tonight. And so far, particularly on that run, he's stepped up.
3rd down and 4, 6:12 to go in the first quarter. Split backs for Dazzo, drops to throw. Dazzo fires it deep, and it's knocked away. I thought for sure Lloyd Graham was gone.
Yeah.
And I got to get another look at who that was. We're not going to get a replay, unfortunately, that knocked that ball away at the very last second.
I think Lloyd Graham thought he had the ball after like 3 steps, and then he looked down and said, what happened?
I think you're right. That may have been a case of running without the ball a little bit. He thought he had it.
Yeah, looked like.
Thought he did too. Florida comes after that, can't get to it. And a fair catch called for at the 16-yard line. For those of you viewing for the first time, what are you watching? The Simulation Football League is the first controllerless esport, allowing you, the viewer, to participate in all the action on the field without a controller in your hands. Visit simulation.football for details on how to get started with a team and in the league. And earlier tonight, CBS 2 in Chicago, featuring the #1 draft pick who's out of the local Chicago area, Johnny Pickler, and the rest of the SFL on the 5:30 news. You can catch that segment again on the 10 o'clock news after we're done here in Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, that's the second play where it looked like Stephen Bush had the play dead to rights, but didn't get the completion.
2nd down and 10, 5:57 to go in the first quarter. A 3-2 look out of Baltimore's defense. Down 7 early without the football. Cochran will drop to throw deep. Oh, great block at the end, and then a massive hit. Cochran looking for a PI, and I think he has a case. That play by it was either Doyle or Weston in the backfield, might have saved Cochran a few more weeks of playing.
Oh, my God. I mean, he was thrown in the face of 2 blitzers coming right into his face, was able to get it off. But, so far, Baltimore has been stepping up a little bit on defense so far.
3rd down and 10 at the 15. 4 wide. Cochran fires it down the field. Knocked away by Thornberry, and there's not even a Florida Storm receiver in the picture. That's how badly that ball was underthrown, and Agrippa will have to come out for another punt.
Yeah, you got to give credit to that defensive line of Baltimore. They're breaking down the pass protection of Florida, and they're putting pressure on Ron Cochran, and he can hang in there, but only for so long before he's got to get rid of that ball.
And you see the bump, Charles, on Stephen Bush there? That was a timing route. Cochran threw it to where he thought Bush would be, but the bump from Thornberry threw off the timing of that whole play.
Yeah, and Baltimore's got some life. They stood up against Florida, and that was a key time to do it.
Agrippa flips the field. What a play down the field by Florida's special teams. That is Ramal Hernandez. How did he get down there so fast? And he smashes Giovanni Bolt.
And that's impressive. Giovanni Bolt is one of the better returners in the league. So lots of credit to the special teams there.
Halfway through the first quarter, and Florida, they definitely are not your average everyday 4-6 unit. This is an improving team, it seems like, by the week, as Irvin gets 4 yards and Champion comes up with a tackle.
Yeah, you're right. They are. They need. I think they're going to need to show a little different wrinkle on their offense tonight. Maybe get the running game a little bit involved. I mean, not necessarily 50-50, but they have to show some wrinkles that makes Baltimore adjust.
Handoff to T-Roy Gaines. He gets rid of one, and then Gaines is pushed back by Tobin. Wow, they give him a favorable spot and give him 3 on the gain, but have not really seen a whole lot of T-Roy here, at least early.
Yeah, but T-Roy is he's built like a brick wall at 240 pounds. Maybe in the first quarter he's going to get stopped maybe for 1 or 2, but you keep doing that all game, and the defense is bound to get tired.
4.5 left, 2 receivers, 1 to either side. Still going to hand it off to Gaines on a 3rd down and 3. And Gaines, no, they didn't give it to him.
No way.
And not only did they not give him inches, they didn't even give him that. 4th and 1 is the call.
Wow.
And unless there was a knee down at an awkward angle, I disagree. They're going to go for it.
Me too. There's no way. I think he crossed the plane.
Wow, look at that. A full yard they marked him back. Can't believe Baltimore's not going to challenge. And if you're going to burn a timeout here, why not just challenge?
That's right. I agree, Cam.
And they're just going to run that out and end up kicking the ball away. That's a break for Florida, and we'll have to keep track of our, Rick Northrup. He's got the Rick meter. We have the break meter. How many breaks do these teams get a night? And Florida just got the first.
The break meter.
Sometimes I think our 62 is permanently on the break meter.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So Baltimore will have to punt it away.
So it looks like Florida started off a little ahead, on both sides of the ball, but Baltimore's starting to settle in, and this is becoming a match.
It feels like an old-fashioned chess match here. It may not have started that way, but it's turning out that way, and how fitting. The SFL is a combination of football and chess, many like to say, and we'll get back to more football and 3D chess when we come back. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and For the Fans. Ron Cochran drops back to pass and fires it outside of the 35-yard line as we return to action here at the I, and E.J. Minson moves the ball up for a first down.
Yeah, let's look at the replay here. It looks like some of the defenders on Baltimore might have been holding on a little past the 5-yard marker, but nevertheless, Cochran was able to get the ball out. Good completion. First down.
Baltimore and Florida go way back. Max Paul was a coach at one time in the Baltimore Crabs organization that was also owned by Tim Johnston. He branched off and eventually got his own team, just as Eddie Gage did, just as Damon Simeon did, just as Ramos Lynn did. That is the Tim Johnston coaching tree in the SFL. Now the head coach in Baltimore for the Vultures. Second down and 8 at the 37-yard line, and Cochran will drop back to pass. Fire it deep down the field, and that's knocked away by Giovanni Bolt. And it'll bring up third down and 8. And for anybody watching across the 11 Sports and FTF platforms that were looking to jump in the chat, that chat is now open, twitch.tv/FTFnext. So get yourself in there with players, coaches, owners, fans all across the world. Third down and 8 at the 37-yard line. 4 receivers in the pattern for Florida. That pass is knocked away. The great Amon takes. Swats it away from E.J. Minson. Minson gets stepped on, and Minson slow to get up. That was a Vulture player that came by and squashed him with a cleat.
Yeah, it's going to be tough getting passes completed against this secondary. I said that at the top of the game, especially in the middle. They got to think of maybe some more out routes, and the middle is dangerous. That's all I'm going to say.
Fourth down at the 37-yard line, and once again, Florida comes up empty and really not able to capitalize on that very early interception by Mike Dazzo as Bolt gets it up the 18-yard line, but Agrippa is helping win the field position battle, and this very stingy Florida defense living up to their name.
Yeah, he's a solid punter. I mean, he gets I think he's got a 66% inside the 20 rating, which is great for a punter.
That's pretty incredible. 2:44 to go in the first. And Baltimore going to have long fields to work with all night. They're going to need some big plays, but T. Roy Gaines can't get out of that. And have you ever seen 3 players that quickly to the ball against this Vulture offense?
Yeah, the Florida defense is definitely fired up, and T. Roy Gaines he's going to really have to work for getting a yard average up tonight.
Second down and 9. Gaines having a tough time running the ball as they did in their previous meeting. Lloyd Graham Jr. catches a not so pretty pass from Mike Dazzo, but gets the job done, and Tobin comes up with another tackle.
Yeah, great hands by Lloyd Graham. I mean, that's not an easy catch to take, going in the middle with your head barely turned to just waiting for that timing route to get the ball in there.
First and 10 at the 30 as Dazzo drops straight back, nearly gets sacked. Gaines picks up 3 to the 33-yard line, but not much more as the wrap-up made by Andrew Francis in his 6th season.
Yeah, and I think Davidson had a little in there as well. Just look at how quickly the closing speed is. They're not allowing Gaines to turn up field and get that positive gain.
Second down with 1:16 to go in the first quarter. Split backs. Dazzo hands it off to Gaines. Again, the defensive front for Florida is all about it. 3rd and 5.
I think it started with the defensive tackle, Pierre Leon, just blew up that gap they were trying to run through, and Gaines had to take it to an alternative gap, and they were just waiting for him.
50 seconds left in the first. Dazzo check down. Oh, floater. And I mean a floater, and because of that rainbow, Gaines is unable to get the first down, and there was definitely not a pot of gold at the end of that one.
Yeah, I would love to get a replay on this just to see the hustle. Number 98, Alessandro Tamello, the defensive end, 6'4", 260. He ran that sucker down, and he showed speed I didn't think he had.
Under 20 seconds to go. It's been a bit of a punt fest here. 5 punts in the first quarter, plus 1 interception and 1 touchdown, and the fair catch called for at the 23-yard line. Both of these teams have beautiful apparel available. Visit sector6apparel.com for all league and team apparel, including hoodies, T-shirts, team jerseys, and more. Sector 6, the official apparel provider of the SFL. And I hope that when we get our upgraded studio someday in the future, that I have all of the jerseys from all of our teams framed in the background. I think that would make brilliant wallpaper. 1st and 10 at the 23, handoff to Doyle. Doyle up the gut, picks up 5 tough, rough yards, and that brings us to the end of quarter number 1. Florida takes a Ryan Tobin interception and then throws a Ron Cochran touchdown pass into the end zone. That's the difference in the game. Baltimore nothing, Florida 7. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports, and For the Fans, we'll be back after this. Back here at the I in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Start of the second quarter. Florida leads Baltimore 7-0. If you're just joining us, Ryan Tobin got an interception on the opening drive of the game. And then Ron Cochran threw a touchdown pass to the back of the end zone to Myers, as that's caught for a first down of the 36-yard line. And then after those 2 drives, we had 5 straight punts, and Florida's got a first down now on the 36.
That's the second time that Optimus Klein's been targeted tonight, but that route he ran, I think, is going to be a key route that they need to run tonight in order to go up against the secondary.
Split backs. Cochran changes the play at the line. Klein alone, bottom of the screen. Everybody kind of goes out in the flats and down the middle of the field, and the pass is caught. Dazzo on the tackle, and look who it is once again. Mark Myers with his second catch. Where has this 2 tight end look come from for Florida? It's not only Myers, it's Minson as well that's had a bunch of catches tonight.
Yeah, it's hard to defend against that slant, and Myers just runs it perfectly.
So Cochran, 8 of 14 for 68 yards and a touchdown. Minson has a catch, and Myers has 2 for 32 of the 68 yards for Cochran. Same split back look. Pass out to Doyle, stops on a dime and turns the corner, getting to the Baltimore 34-yard line. And Charles, when we were in our meetings, breaking down these teams and getting ready for this matchup, a lot of what we kept coming back to is, goodness gracious, this Baltimore Vulture team is really good. They're not getting the respect that they deserve. But here tonight, it's been a little quiet here to start as Cochran's pass is caught again. Stopping on a dime, getting a first down with even less room this time is J.W. Doyle as the Storm continue to steal headlines.
Most people think of J.W. Doyle as the bruiser fullback up the middle, but he's got surprisingly good hands, and when they get the ball to him, he can be pretty deadly there on the sides.
Thornberry, like a berry fallen from a tree on that play, just quickly to the ground. 1st and 10 at the 20, just outside the red zone. Don't say anything, Charles. 9:18 to go.
Well done, my friend.
In the
well done.
in the first half, Doyle gets a 2-yard gain.
I was actually, for a second there, I was transported into a field watching a berry fall onto the ground.
Could you tell we're friends out there? The universe. 2nd and 8 at the 18-yard line. 8:50 to go in the first half. 7-0 Florida as Cochran fires it outside to Doyle again. Down to the 8-yard line. Somebody's got to cover that guy. And, he's deceptively quick in the open field.
They've got that route all day. The danger point against the Baltimore defense is in the center, anywhere, short, medium, long. The only hope Florida has is on the sidelines.
You owe me 25 cents. First and goal.
For crying out loud. It's the Barry thing that threw me off.
At the 8.5 minutes to go. Florida's knocking on the door, trying to take a 2-score lead. Cochran end zone. Oh, an attempted one-handed catch by Klein, but it was just out of his reach, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, it's not for lack of effort. Klein went up there, tried to do what he could to bring it in, but the pass wasn't exactly where it needed to be.
Baltimore, not often with a goose egg on the board this late in a game, and the offense has only been on the field for 19 plays and 4 drives, or an average of about 5 plays a drive. Cochran out to Doyle, or check that. Wow. That is Connor Weston, the running back signed in week 2, but cannot get in, but got half of what they need.
Yeah, he tried to do a little spin, but by the time he executed that spin, there are 2 defenders waiting to bring him down.
8 minutes left here in the first half. Empty backfield, 4 wide, 3 to the short side left in press coverage on the line. 2 deep safeties, nobody in the middle. Cochran fires over that direction, tips it up. It's almost caught for a touchdown and then dropped off the hands of the receiver. 4th and goal coming up, and I thought that was going to be a touchdown.
I thought that was going to be interception, so you and I will agree to disagree. I don't like passing in the middle. I said it before against this Baltimore defense.
Heck of a disguise there from the Vultures, because they had nobody in the middle, and then not only did they play man inside, but they also collapsed up the deep middle and forced a field goal out of Ethan Sneed. 7:47 to go in the first half. Florida 10, Baltimore nothing. While you go to break, put yourself in that field. Calm yourselves. Everything's going to be all right. We'll be back. Simulation Football League. And for the fans. Nothing. 7:47 to go in the first half. It's the 4-6 Florida Storm, who are a half game out of the playoffs in a 4-way tie for 12th at the moment. Up 10-0 on the Baltimore Vultures at 7-3. And Charles, we had a cluster at 4-6 coming into the week. 8 of the 20 teams in the league were tied at 4-6. If Baltimore loses this one tonight, the new cluster will be at 7-4. Sioux Falls dropped. Charleston and Jacksonville won. So right now there are 3 teams at 7-4, and Baltimore would prefer not to join that group. 3 wide for Dazzo. Dazzo in some trouble, and he goes down. You can't hold the ball long against this defensive front. And kissing the muscles Tomaello on the sack.
Yeah, I mean, he's been just playing incredibly tonight. Excuse me, this is his 8th sack of the season, and he's just all over the field.
Second down and 13 at the 24. Dazzo, easy pass over the middle. Mac Chima picks up 11 and got hit like a Mack truck, 3rd and 3.
Yeah, somebody's got to do something on the Baltimore side against Tomaello. He's just blowing through that blocking up front. On that last play, it just looked like he was shredding a knife through paper and was right in the face of Dazzo.
Dazzo's pass on 3rd and 3. T-Roy, first down with emphasis to the 38-yard line. What a shot.
He just lowered his shoulder and just showed how much power he had. 240 pounds against the defenses. In this case, one got them the first down.
.6:18 to go. Dazzo to throw, trying to get some momentum moving here. Flips it out to Gaines, and Gaines picks up 6, and maybe this is the method to getting Baltimore's offense moving. Gaines leads all running backs in receiving touchdowns with 6, and Charles, you had some notes on his career coming into the game. It's been impressive to say the least.
Well, it's definitely. I mean, he's got 425 receptions for his career. It's crazy. And he's also, if you put all the receivers in the league together, running backs, fullbacks, receivers, tight ends, he's 10th in the league right now. That's just incredible.
And nearly got the first down there as Francis gives him a respect tap on the back of the helmet. 5:22 to go in the first half. Chat shout-outs to Teflon Ron, I'm FM Problem, Iceman Gervin, Real Imp Guy, Shacker 3-2, Cold 49, Jeff Melanishin, or Destro Productions, Electric Aggie as Gaines gets the first down up the middle. Mighty RX, Connor Weston, Minson Mind, Insanity 21, and many others. If you want to join in on the chat, twitch.tv/FTF Next is where you can find all of these fine people, and most of them playing on the field right now. Two backs, two receivers, split. 4 down linemen for Florida. They bring a 5th, and the pass is caught by Irvin. Blitz gets picked up. Carroll on the stop on the back end of the play, but Baltimore deepest into Florida territory tonight.
Yeah, that was a crisp pass there by Dazzo. 1 millisecond early, 1 millisecond late, and that ball would have been intercepted.
Very low-scoring, fast-moving first half as Baltimore on drive number 5 right now, getting things moving. Dazzo a quiet 13 for 15 and sacked. No quiet storm on that one. Big, sexy with the takedown, a loss of 4.
So this season, this is his 15.5 sack for the season. He just threw the offensive lineman aside like a rag doll and got right in Dazzo's face. There's no way he was getting that ball off.
Under 4 to play, and sacks, a big storyline in this game as well that we'll touch on. That's already 2 for Florida. 2 in the backfield. Dazzo drops to pass, fires it outside. This is the fullback, R.E. Mills, and he takes a shot. Check out this stat. Mike Dazzo sacked a league at least 10 times, but 7 of the 10 times he's been sacked have come in Baltimore's 3 losses. Only sacked 3 times in 7 wins.
Yeah, on the road as well. I mean, they're night and day on the road versus playing at home.
3rd and 12. Dazzo has time. Deep ball down the field. Tipped up and should have been picked off. Pass intended for Irvin. Francis in coverage, and the drive stalls out just inside Shark Tarkington field goal range to try to end this drought.
Yeah, good stand there by the Florida defense. Dazzo was trying to go downfield. They had it read. It looks like they're like one step, the defense of Florida is one step ahead of Baltimore.
This a legit 51-yard field goal for the left-footed kicker to get Baltimore on the board. That was just Dazzo's third incompletion of the night from 51. Tarkington, you bet, hit the back of the net too. That would have been good from 55. And the Vultures down now just 7.
I believe that's the longest for Shark Tarkington of 51 yards.
So season long for Tarkington nailed. Check that off the list. And the Storm lead cut by just a bit, but the defense stands once more. It's crazy that Florida scores 19.9 points a game and gives up 19.9 points a game. They have a dead even 0 is their point differential as Merrill returns it up to the 21-yard line. Baltimore a little bit more comfortable and used to high-scoring games, but they like to play these slog-em-out games as well.
Yeah, they got to be careful. I mean, they've been playing great so far, but they have to have that continued against Baltimore because you don't want to get lulled to sleep. And Baltimore, next thing you know, has 10 points up on the board.
2 in the backfield for Cochran. Heavy look, they're going to throw. Cochran again fires it out to Doyle. They have been killing Baltimore with J.W. Doyle in the passing game. It's a 7-yard pickup.
Yes, again, smart play calling by Florida. That's what you got to do against this Baltimore defense. It opens up a lot of possibilities when you get a couple successful passes to your fullback. The defense needs to make some adjustments.
Doyle coming into the ball game, 25 receptions in 10 games. He has 4 receptions tonight, so already above his average. Handoff to Doyle. No gain. And we mentioned the 115 yards on 22 carries he had the last time these teams met. You almost wonder if almighty RX went back to the film and said, hey, what worked against him last time, and pulling out Doyle once more here.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, Cam.
3rd and 4 at the 27. Florida is 1 for 4 on 3rd downs tonight. Ooh. Cochran's pass caught in traffic. Got the slot corner matched up against Stephen Bush. That's not a good matchup. Wow. And the Storm take advantage of the mismatch.
Yeah, Cochran got the snap. It did a little pump fake maybe to throw the safety off a bit. Was able to get that ball into Stephen Bush, and looks like Stephen Bush is starting to come around from maybe a little cold here at the beginning of the game.
That takes us to the 2-minute warning. Florida 10, Baltimore 3. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans, and we will be right back. Go. 2 minutes left in the first half. Don't forget that tomorrow a very critical doubleheader to the SFL standings starts at 7:30 Eastern. Queen City and St. Louis, followed by Las Vegas and Arizona. You won't want to miss either of those games as Klein gets a 4-yard reception. That's 3, 4, and 6 teams in action tomorrow night, along with the 7 and 3 Corsairs who are watching this game very carefully, obviously.
Now, this is a challenge here for the Baltimore front 4 to get some pressure up on Cochran. So far, they haven't. Doesn't look like they've touched him at all.
2nd down and 6 at midfield. Cochran back to pass. Cochran in trouble.
And here
Steps away from one, but cannot get away from another. That's Tucker Lewis, an undrafted free agent, making things happen on the line.
Well, that's his 5th and a half sack this season, and I guess they responded. Maybe they've got really great hearing, Cam.
Third and long here It's not going to help the third down conversions. Cochran fires into traffic. No way.
Oh,
Bush with the first down.
Holy mackerel. That was the definition of a touch pass. I mean, he just lofted it over the defender, got it over the shoulder of the defender, right into the hands of Bush. I mean, that's silly.
First down and 10 at the 44. Time on the side of the Storm. Deep drop back. Cochran looking for it all, and it's knocked away. Tony Willis steps in front of that and forces a second down, stops the clock with 56 seconds to go.
Yeah, every time they test that middle of Baltimore, I get nervous thinking that they're going to throw an interception, but they've dodged the bullet so far.
56 seconds left. Heavy set here. We've seen them throw out of some of these. Look at Doyle, left side. Throw goes out into the pattern. There he is. Doyle with the reception this time. Well covered. Joe Dazzo getting out there. The wily veteran forces Florida's first timeout.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that play developed as quickly as it needed to. The ball got into Doyle's hands and he didn't really have time to turn upfield.
Download the ScoreStream app and follow your favorite team for live scoring updates. When you aren't able to catch a game live, you can follow just your team or the entire league. The first esport on the app, and it's picked off the deflection. Giovanni Bolt back the other way, 35 down to the 31-yard line. He has lightning in his shoes, and Cochran throws a costly interception with 41 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta give credit to Gene Judy for doing that touchdown-saving tackle on Giovanni Bolt. What a great play by Bolt to read the quarterback right from the snap. That's his 6th interception of the season. Almost took it to the house again, if not for Gene Judy bringing him down.
Bolt taking advantage. Really, it wasn't Cochran's fault. The receiver dropped the pass right into the hands of Bolt, and that is not the guy you want hovering around your intended receiver. 3 in the backfield, they'll throw. Gaines with one man to beat and cannot beat him. Nice drag down tackle in the open field. Baltimore not going to call a timeout. 30 seconds to go in the first half. Lloyd Graham Jr. off to the left of Dazzo, still 3 in the backfield. And are they going to go to Gaines again? Yes, they will. Another rainbow pass. This time Gaines racing to the sideline, gets rid of 2 and gets out of bounds.
T-Roy Gaines is the best running back in the league as far as when you get him the ball, his recovery time, him turning upfield and putting on the afterburners, I think it's faster than any running back in the league.
T-Roy Gaines trying to make Florida pay in a similar way that Florida made Baltimore pay for an interception at the beginning of this half. And it's almost like we've played a dead even game full of 8-yard completions and 6-yard runs, except for an interception and a touchdown at the very beginning, and an interception and a TBD drive here for Baltimore at the end of the half, and that is incomplete. Holder nearly caught that off his shoulder, but it'll stop the clock with 16 seconds left. I suspect we might see one more play here out of the Vultures.
Definitely, and you're a poet, Cam, but
I don't even know it.
Off the shoulder to Holder. It's dangerous for both teams throwing in the middle there. They've got so many options on the sideline.
Needing 16 yards to avoid a field goal here. Dazzo firing middle. Caught! Missed tackle! Touchdown! Daly Holder scores. And if you're Florida's defense, that is absolutely inexcusable. They had him right there.
Yeah, he definitely had him. But it was a great pass by Dazzo. He completes his 21st passing touchdown of the season. Daly Holder gets his 6th, I believe. You gotta just knock the life out of Baltimore. You can't keep them in this game because they're going to catch up and eventually take the lead.
So Ryan Tobin was the man in coverage, and he went for the pick, guessed wrong, And that ended up being a touchdown to Holder, the 21st touchdown of the season for Mike Dazzo. And we're all square at 10. Coming in, Mike Dazzo needed 198 yards to break 3,000. He's got 121.
And, he didn't start off on fire as far as an efficiency standpoint with that interception at the beginning, but he's been completing 80% of his passes all day.
Just a 4-play, 31-yard drive, a touchdown drive for Baltimore. Florida's touchdown drive was only 33 yards on 6 plays because of the terrific field position as Merrill gets it up to 21. And I think that's the storyline of the game so far, Charles. When either one of these offenses is forced to go the length of the field, it's just not a lot there.
Yeah, definitely not a lot there. I mean, both. It's a credit to the defenses on both sides there. I mean, they don't let you burn them too deep. They're bend but don't break, and it's showing tonight.
7 seconds to go in the first half. I would suspect. No, Cochran gonna air it out.
Wow!
Sling a wild one, caught by Bush with one hand, but out of a Hail Mary range. Florida will just take it into the half. 10-10. What a first half. Very competitive here from the eye in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And these are going to be some interesting first half stats on both sides of the ball. 27 combined rushing yards. Time of possession and turnovers pretty even. And so is the score.
Yeah, both quarterbacks, we talked about the duel of Dazzo and Cochran. Both of them have thrown a touchdown. Both of them have thrown an interception. Cochran's completion percentage isn't quite as high, but they're both, going head to head and hanging in there. I'm really shocked that T-Roy Gaines hasn't put more yards on the ground.
There's that beautiful pass, if you missed it earlier, to Myers in the back of the end zone. And there he is again. I mean, it's been one of those games, Charles, where both teams know a lot about each other. They know how to take away your biggest strengths, and players like Mark Myers, they're going to have to step up, and he did in the first half.
Yeah, in the second half, it's going to come down to making opportunities out of your opponent's mistakes. I mean, we saw a couple passes that looked like they're going to be intercepted, but they were dropped. In the second half, the team that wants to win has got to hold on to the ball and got to make your opponent pay for their mistakes.
Baltimore was the 3 seed last season in the playoffs, and trying to get back there. They've already clinched the playoff spot.
I think they're dangerous, Cam. I think Baltimore is one of the most dangerous teams going into the playoffs.
I don't think anybody wants to see this Florida Storm team in the playoffs. I think even though they bowed out early last season against Seattle, I still think people say, hey, look, you got your 3 championships. Why don't you just go away? Merrill takes a knee. Pretty night here in Florida. We hope you're staying safe, happy, and healthy at home. Help stop this menace of a virus we have going on outside the virtual walls of the SFL. And we hope that we're a way for you to get away from it all, at least just for a few hours in your day, as Optimus Klein nearly gets a first down and Cochran's up to 180.
Yeah, you're going to have to get Optimus Klein engaged in this second half. He was relatively quiet in the first half, but to pull away with a W, Klein's got to have his name over the stats.
Bunch set to the left for Cochran, 2nd and inches at the 30, and a sack again from Tucker Lewis. Came out of nowhere.
Holy mackerel.
And look at Cochran. He's holding his head. Is he okay? Is he hurt?
That was incredible speed.
Unblocked.
By Tucker Lewis. Look at that. That was like a linebacker running up the middle.
Is Cochran still in the game? Yes, he is, but that was scary there for a moment. 3rd and 6. Cochran's, look at that. Is he okay?
Yeah, he might be seeing stars right now, Cam.
That was to nobody. He's lucky that did not result in an interception, and Florida should be rushing Marcus Agrippa onto the field. And I want to go back to that sack, Charles. It looked like the left guard did not have, or the left tackle rather, did not have anybody to block because Baltimore stunted right. And
right around the coverage.
Right. And it ended up being that Tucker Lewis got free because of that stunt that was not recognized by Florida's offense. And now Bolt on the punt return breaks 3 tackles and gets out to the 41 to match his number. And Florida better be careful because they had a 7-0 lead about 3 minutes into this game. But since then, not much out of the storm.
Yeah, definitely not. And Baltimore's starting to heat up, and the defense of Florida has got to dig their heels in and get that ball back to their offense.
Dazzo going aggressive here to start. Press coverage on the line for Florida. Dazzo back to pass. Everybody covered. And
wow.
Boy, a 2-for-1 there for I.B. Lurkin. He just had to stand there and watch Chima cross into the zone. Actually, Champion, rather.
Yeah, Frank Champion was standing there with 2 receivers on both sides of him and just, smacked it down. Said, neither of you are going to have soup today.
9:48 to go in the 3rd. You said soup. Now I'm hungry. What's that? Didn't we send somebody to go get us some food at halftime? I don't think they're coming back. 2nd and 10 at the 41. 3 in the backfield. Dazzo going to throw. Short side Gaines. Gaines gets 1 block, and Gaines stays inbounds somehow. Carroll with yet another tackle. Evan Carroll is racking him up, and that's an 8-yard gain for T. Roy Gaines.
Yeah, smart play calling by Baltimore. You got to get Gaines involved in the passing attack. I think that's going to open up some options on the ground for him.
He has 7 receptions. All other receivers combined have 10 receptions. Handoff to Gaines. Gaines, first down to the 49. Just 21 yards on 9 carries, while Doyle has 9 yards on 4 carries. Run defense has been pretty good on both sides tonight.
I've got a feeling, though, that yards per carry is gonna get a little higher there for Gaines as this half starts to wear on.
8:55 to go in the 3rd. 1st and 10. Ball at the Florida 49. Split backs. 8 in the box. Florida crowding everything, expecting a run, getting a run. Ooh. And R.E. Mills, the fullback, maybe getting a yard. That is already the 6th tackle for Toma Ello. And when a defensive lineman has 6 tackles, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, so far he's the defensive player of the game for Florida. He is just all over the place. Great hustle, great closing speed, and he's bringing the offender down.
8:20 to go in the 3rd. Dazzo, all kinds of time, flips it outside. Oh, Gaines is erased from your picture as Francis clocks him.
Oh, my. Andrew Francis, what I like about him, he's one of the shortest strong safeties in the league, but when he hits you, he leaves a mark. I mean, you see right there, he's all in.
That was 5'11", 230 on the 6'2", 240 Gaines. 3rd down and 11 from midfield. Again, that press coverage look by Florida as Dazzo goes deep, and it's caught over the defense for a first down at the 27-yard line. Tobin wraps up Mac Chima at the end of the play.
Oh, my God. That is just an incredible pass by Dazzo. Excuse me. And I believe that's his first reception of the game. Right in the middle between the defenders. Perfect pass by Dazzo.
First down at the 27-yard line. Chima now 34 yards, 2 grabs, had that 11-yarder.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
It was a while ago. First down at the Storm 27. Handoff to Gaines. Gaines slicing through as much as he can, picks up 3. And back to the quarterbacks. The 2 of the top 5 all-time efficient quarterbacks in the SFL, and Boy, they've got some crazy legacies. I don't think Cochran's going to get to 25,000 a night, but he's very close.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. The QB rating, the completion percentage, both are off the charts.
2nd down and 7. Dazzo flips it out to Gaines, and Gaines will be 4 yards short. And,
wow.
high QBR, that's all coaching, isn't it, Charles?
Yeah, definitely. In that particular, in this last play here, if Dazzo would have got him the ball, a little sooner and maybe better placed, I think we would have been looking at a first down.
6:25 to go, third quarter. 3rd down and 3 at the 21. Dazzo audibles, 3-step drop, pressure in his face immediately, and Ivory Irvin taps the toes to stay in bounds. The presence of mind to know where the sideline was, because the timing of that play was all sorts of off.
I mean, it was perfect execution from beginning though to end. I mean, Dazzo got the snap, the pocket started to break down. He stood in there, fired it off to Irvin, and Irvin did the perfect catch on the sidelines.
3 receivers, Chima in the slot. Nickel look out of Florida's defense in a 10-10 tie with 6 minutes to go in the third. Dazzo's pass caught. Chima again. 8-yard gain, got half of what they need to the end zone. And Baltimore continues their march.
Yeah, this is gut check time for Florida defense. They got to dig their heels in, and I think at this point they need to get the ball back from a turnover.
This drive for Baltimore is now 10 plays, 52 yards. Both teams had 11 play drives that resulted in field goals earlier in the game. Gaines on play 11 inside the 5, got the first down, but Carroll makes Charles squeal.
Ow. As a running back, I felt for T-Roy on that one. Oh, my gosh. A cornerback coming in there and delivering a hit there like he was a safety.
1st and goal at the 5. Split backs. Is anybody on Ivory Irvin? Looking at the bottom of the screen. I see a shadow. Handoff Gaines, and nothing. I'd go back to that look. If you're going to give Irvin that much space, just run a little stop route and he's in.
Yeah, I'd slip him a little note in the huddle. Hey, I was wide open.
You ever type notes to classmates in high school on those calculators? Did you ever do that?
Wow.
Those fancy calculators? I was a bored child. 2nd and goal at the 5. Dazzo's pass. There's Irvin. Oh, and they stop him. Evan Carroll, another tackle. This corner is everywhere.
He's definitely everywhere. I'm still trying to get over the calculator comment. I'm sorry. But, hey.
I'm sorry. They didn't have calculators.
Thanks for dropping that grenade on my lap right before the play.
Did they have calculators when you were in school, Charles?
Just abacus.
4:12 to go in the third.
Pens. With feathers.
1 yard away, 3rd and goal. Gaines, no! Florida stops him at the 2-yard line, and it's Nicholas Warner.
Oh my gosh, that was a great tackle by Nicholas Warner, and it's even more impressive when he's tackling T-Roy Gaines.
So another tremendous stand by Florida's defense, and you won't believe the stat we pull out after the break. But Florida's defense, one of the best bend, don't break defenses, I think, ever in football. 13-10. Bend, don't break, don't matter if you don't have the lead. Baltimore's up 3 with 3:37 to go in the third quarter. You're watching 11 Sports. And for the fans, Simulation Football League action coming right back. Is that the first break I've taken in the third? .337 to go in the third quarter. Baltimore 13, Florida 10, as the Vultures turn a 15-play, 58-yard drive into just 3 points. 3 yards deep in the end zone. Here comes Merrill. Robert Merrill out to the 28-yard line. And check this out. The last 2 seasons, Florida has given up the most first downs in the league. And they give up the fourth least amount of points. They've been a top 4 scoring defense for over 2 years in the SFL. That's unbelievable.
Definitely unbelievable. They just lock it down when you get close to the goal line.
Baltimore tonight has had 15 play and 11 play drives, and in only 3 points. Hand off to Doyle. There's a flag. That's a face mask right at the point of attack.
Wow.
And that'll help Florida keep the chains moving.
Yeah, this is a big series for Florida. I mean, that was a great stop by the defense. They did put 3 points on the board for Baltimore, but Baltimore seems to have found a groove.
Incidental face mask called on Bernard Patterson, signed in week 4. The chat quick to point out there were 21 teams last season. Your cookies in the mail. How about this, Charles? 1st and 1.
Here we
Have
go.
you ever seen a 1st and 1 in your life?
No.
Hand off Doyle.
Oh!
1st and 10. That's more like it. To the 40.
So far, they're 100% on 1st and 1 situations.
They probably will be for the rest of their franchise history. I had to really think about what you said.
Yeah, I owed you for that calculator comment.
1st and 10 at the 40. Out of the shotgun, Cochran. Cochran looking down the middle of the field again. Stephen Bush to the Baltimore 44. Cochran now 20 of 31, approaching 200 yards on the night.
Yeah, they're so far, Alaska's. Oh my God, Florida's moving the ball. They've got the defense of Baltimore on their heels, and they're in the right spot here. They've got the momentum going. Let's see if they can get it in the end zone.
What a route by Bush. I mean, he stutter-stepped and really kind of froze the defense. They didn't know where he was going to go.
No, they did.
1st and 10 at the Vulture 44. The Storm now putting together a nice little drive. Press coverage. Cochran has to get rid of it. Finds an open man. It took a while, but Optimus Klein able to break free from Kaz McFly, who's had a quiet night. Usually that's a good thing for a DB, but Klein wins the battle on that one.
Yeah, they're doing press coverage up on these wide receivers, but in particular, Optimus Klein is pretty strong. He can shrug that press coverage aside and get open.
This is Florida's longest drive since they last scored. 1.5 to go in the third. Cochran's pass is incomplete. 2nd down and 10 at the 30. Pass intended for number 89, Jose Galeano, who I believe was the player who dropped the pass that ended up getting picked by Bolt at the end of the first half.
Yeah, that was a dangerous pass.
1:28 to go in the third. 2nd and 10 at the 30. Bunch left. Nickel look, Baltimore. 8 on the play clock. Cochran trying to keep the drive alive. Cochran wobbly pass into triple coverage, and it's almost intercepted by McFly. And I have a question. What has happened to McFly's hands? Because he has been a back-to-back Pro Bowler. He's actually led all cornerbacks in Pro Bowl votes 2 seasons in a row. But those are the type of plays that he used to bring in. He has just not been able to do that this year so far.
Yeah, so far, Florida's been dodging the bullet. They've been testing the middle of the defense. I'm not sure why, but they've been escaping the bullet so far.
3rd and 10. Cochran outside. Turn the corner. Bush cannot because he's forced out of bounds by Thornberry. Takes was breathing down the neck of Bush. And, wow, another field goal coming for Ethan Snead. And we are squarely locked in the defensive battle we expected.
Yeah, first half it was a lot of punter action, and in the second half we got a lot of place kicker action.
Special teams. They're special for a reason.
That's right.
39.
Ethan Snead's been perfect on the season.
Yes, sir. 39-yard field goal attempt. 105 and counting in the quarter. Taking forever to snap the football. Good snap, good hold, and Snead's kick is so high it's off the screen. The field goal is good. We are tied at 13. We got a ball game here. Don't go anywhere. Find out who wins this one after this. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and For the Fans. .56 seconds to go in the third. The previous meetings in this series, 33-14 Storm, 31-17 Storm, 23-10 Baltimore, and 24-16 Baltimore. So not a ton of scoring in any of these games in this series. The most ever, 33 last year.
Yeah, they've traded field goals this half, and Baltimore's got the ball back. I think Florida is going to need to keep. But Baltimore's pretty much they're dangerous in the second half. The defense of Florida is going to have to rise up and kind of put them in their place.
The receivers out wide, two backs in the backfield. Dazzo will fire it out to Irvin. Again, Irvin is going the wrong way. And by the way, we didn't really touch on it on the last drive, but Ron Cochran looked to have shaken out the cobwebs, and because of that bend don't break defense, it gave him a long time on the sidelines, and I think that helped him get well.
Yep, shake the cobwebs out.
Because before that, just a 4-play, 4-yard drive ended in a punt, and Cochran looked all kinds of woozy. Handoff on a trap to Gaines, and he runs into the belly of the beast, 3rd and 6.
Yeah, they've been doing a great job of containing him up the middle. That's not an easy job. I mean, like I said at the start of the game, T-Roy is a beast on the inside. He's a beast going on the outside, and Florida's been doing a great job.
End of the third quarter. We're back in 30 seconds. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and For the Fans. 11 minutes to go in this one. Maybe we can have overtime too. We'll find out. One quarter to go here. The 7-3 Vultures trying to join the Vancouver Legion at 8-3 and avoid falling into the 7-4 trap with Sioux Falls, Charleston, and Jacksonville, tied with the 4-6 Storm as Chima gets a catch.
Wow.
Florida trying to join 3 teams at 5-6, Mexico City, Tulsa, and Denver, and will try to avoid going to 4-7 and join that group. I don't think.
This is a. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Charles, I'm not sure that 7 losses are going to get you in the playoffs, but Mexico City winning earlier today certainly helped all those teams at 4-7.
Yeah, definitely. The amazing stat for Dazzo. I mean, his entire game, he's been at 83% completion.
Yeah, the guy is just efficient as all get out. Gaines lost the ball. It's loose, and
no,
it's recovered, I believe,
wow,
by Frank Champion of Florida.
Wow.
I think it was Warner that landed on the ball in the end.
Wow.
And Gaines fumbles it away.
Oh, my God. Huge turnover for Florida.
And finally,
Gaines rarely fumbles.
Finally, the clamp down on the middle of the field pays off for the Storm. Cochran play action, fires it outside. Klein just shy of the first down, pickup of 9 as Florida looks to capitalize.
I mean, you just love the execution on a play like that. You can tell a well-coached team by the execution of a route like that. I mean, perfect right in the arms of Klein at the very edge of the sideline.
Second down and 1 at the Baltimore 31. Another turnover results in an offense getting a short field. Handoff up the middle. And Doyle bruises a couple before he gets to the Baltimore 24-yard line.
Yeah, nice run by Doyle up the middle. He had a good blocking up front there by the guard. Nice hole. He took it up front and made the defenders pay.
First down and 10 of the 24-yard line, and right now, as Doyle
oh my gosh, look at that.
bruises another. Right now, momentum all on the side of Florida.
Yeah, he's Doyle's the hot guy on Florida right now. Just keep feeding him the ball till they can stop him.
It's Gaines' second fumble of the season. He fumbled against Charleston, and actually, that's now a career high. He's never had more than one fumble in a season. In fact, coming into this season, he only had 1 in 3 seasons. Second and inches. Handoff Doyle, and he's stopped in the backfield as Chad Rowland actually picks Doyle up off the ground and sets him down.
Chad Rowland picked that berry from the tree and stopped him from getting the first down.
And put it in his basket.
Put it in his basket to take home to mom.
3rd and 2 at the 16 in the red zone. Cochran with pressure at his feet. And it's picked off. Kaz McFly makes me eat my berries and my words. First down for the Vultures.
That's right. No berries for you, Cam. We talked about how dangerous it was thrown in the middle. And they did not dodge the bullet this time. It was a read well by Kaz McFly from the snap, and they got the interception and just halted any momentum that Florida thought they were going to get.
T-Roy Gaines' fumble doesn't hurt him, and the Vultures get the ball back. Tie game. You're watching the SFL on 11 Sports and For the Fans. .8:49 to go in the 4th off the Kaz McFly interception. It's a tie game at 13. Both teams trading turnovers in the fourth period as Gaines is hit by Francis. Francis has had his number, and Gaines is slow to get up.
Wow.
And boy,
man.
I thought he was down for the count there.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, love to see a 5'11" guy bring down a 6'2", 240-pounder.
Dazzo 27 of 32, 178 yards. The leading receiver is Mac Chima with 52 yards tonight. Gaines has just 26 yards on 14 carries. Dazzo going short. What an adjustment by Daly Holder to pick up
that,
8.
Huh?
So they say.
Wow.
He says, "Yeah, I got that."
Yeah, I definitely. Let's hurry up and snap it, folks.
Gaines has more receiving yards tonight than rushing yards, and Ivory Irvin does have 6 receptions, the most of any receiver, but just 34 yards on those receptions. He has not been the deep threat he's been the last couple of weeks. Hand off to Gaines.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Again, the middle is just full of bright and dark blue.
Yeah, they're not going to let Gaines have a big game today, and they've been holding him in check, and that's impressive. That's hard to do against a guy like Gaines.
Really surprised that Baltimore has not tried to run more outside on Florida. Maybe it's Tomaello and Dominguez on the edges that prompted Baltimore not to make that decision, but it just feels like there's just not any room as Merrill almost got away. Gets to the 37-yard line.
Yeah, did you see Tomello flying around all day? I wouldn't want to run on his side.
No, I mean, it's definitely a conundrum for Baltimore to try to get this run game going. Cochran is 23 of 37, 224 yards, a touchdown and 2 picks. Leading receiver Stephen Bush with 82 yards on 6 receptions. Doyle just 8 carries, 27 yards. He does have 47 yards on 5 receptions, and Tomaello leads all Florida defensive players with 8 tackles. And the handoff goes to Doyle. He picks up 5. By the way, on the defensive side for Baltimore, Willis leads all players with 6 tackles. And since Dazzo got sacked twice early in the game, he has been kept clean ever since.
Yeah, I mean, not a huge game by Doyle, but he's doing a big favor to his quarterback, getting some positive yards.
2nd down and 5 at the 42. Cochran out of the gun, fires it out to Klein, ran the route short, and that's a horrible spot. That's at least 3rd and 1, and that's the second time that Florida has.
I don't think the line crew is going to get a gold star tonight.
No. Every once in a while they have a great game, but this has been a tough one for them.
Yeah, definitely.
Look at that spot. That is definitely not where
horrible.
He was. 3rd down and 2 at the 45-yard line. Let's see what they do here. 7 in the box for Baltimore, and they bring 6, and Doyle runs right past him. Doyle gets away 30. McFly, the only guy that can get him. 15-10. McFly, no sir. Touchdown, Florida.
Holy smokes. That right there is why football fans love fullbacks. I mean, that was power from the beginning to the end. He just lowered his head like a Brahma bull and just took it right to the house.
Doyle says goodbye to McFly.
Wow.
Right here. I don't think so. And the
Holy
Storm
mackerel.
shocked the Vultures here in a game that has been, I wouldn't say full of fireworks. It's been a great competitive football game, but Doyle puts the exclamation point on that one and is now up to 87 yards on 10 carries very quickly.
Whew. Love it when the fullback does damage like that.
The extra point for Snead is good. Florida 20, Baltimore 13. The Vultures will have to counter, or Florida's going to make things that much more difficult for teams at 4 and 7. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports and for the fans. 6.5 to go in the fourth quarter off of J.W. Doyle's 55-yard touchdown run. The Florida Storm take a touchdown lead. Looking for the upset here tonight as Bolt returns it 1 yard out of his end zone, only up to the 25-yard line. And now we get a chance to look at Dazzo, and I think the right move here is to just stay with the short passing game. Yep. I wouldn't try to force anything, and Gaines has been struggling. They've been best when they've gotten Gaines out into the pattern and gotten themselves ahead of the sticks.
And you got to give credit to a lot Florida's special teams keeping Bolt in check. That guy's a beast.
Dazzo
on returns.
Out to Irvin, and Irvin turns the corner. That's exactly what they needed. Gets the first down. Look at Tim Johnston on the sideline, acting like he won the Super Bowl. Finally, we got Irvin a catch for more than 10 yards.
Get off the field. Get a penalty.
Come on, goodness gracious. I hint a little bit of sarcasm there out of Coach Johnston with that celebration. Pretty frustrated with his offense tonight. Tim Johnston going from couch to field on that one. 1st and 10 at the 40. Dazzo going long. Caught! Daly Holder! 20, 10. Look at the speed by Francis. Saves the touchdown. Andrew Francis. What a remarkable play.
Oh, my God. That was a heck of a pass, heck of a reception. But you got to give credit to Francis for running that one down and saving points on the board. Oh, my gosh. Now Florida has a chance to keep him out of the end zone.
Just when you think Holder's just going to walk in.
Yeah.
Francis, who has been the one guy that's had T-Roy Gaines' number tonight on the outside, makes the play. Caught!
There you go.
Touchdown, Baltimore. That was fast. Ivory Irvin, welcome to the party.
Definitely. Ivory Irvin's been relatively quiet tonight, but he's the leading receiver of touchdowns this season for Baltimore, and he just shows you how dangerous he is. You can't let up on him or he's going to burn you.
That was a mistake by Carroll. Did you see what he did? He turned inside. There's no help out there. He gave up like half the end zone.
That was a great response by Baltimore after that 55-yard run by Doyle.
So in a game where the two teams have had 3 different drives go over 10 plays, end in field goals, Florida goes 3 plays for 63 yards, and Baltimore goes 3 plays, 75 yards on their touchdown. And that's the most yards on the least plays of both teams tonight. Credit Robert Garrett Jr. in the stats truck with that information.
I'm just gonna say Mike Dazzo is just out of control tonight. His stats are off the charts. 86% completion percentage, 103.8 QBR.
Up to the 23. That all coming against the defense that gives up just the 6th fewest passing touchdowns in the league. Florida coming in lopsided on the turnover differential, but you see both teams giving up around 20 points a game, and that's exactly where we're at with 5:21 to go. Dazzo, 31 of 36.
This is silly.
261 yards. Doyle picked up, thrown down, but I think the flag's on the Vultures. And it is. Flag on Chad Rowland.
Yeah, that's too bad. That was a heck of a tackle by Joe Dazzo. Wow.
Chad Rowland in the chat right now. And if you want to get in the chat, visit twitch.tv/FTF next to join the conversation. There's Doyle's updated numbers, which we've been tracking perfectly tonight. 1st and 5 at the 28. Bunch left. 7 in the box for Baltimore, showing blitz. They all back off. And Cochran fires it out to Doyle. Doyle in the flat, got the first down to the 33-yard line. Bolt just too far away from the action. If you're new to the SFL, get your spot in the SFL Minor League, SFLM today, to hashtag claim your spot and begin your SFL career. Subscriptions are going fast, and the inaugural kickoff begins in April. First Pro subscribers get first priority on choosing their position, so don't delay your career another second. We can't wait for you to hashtag make an impact like so many users have done here in tonight's game. 4:44 to go in the fourth for Florida. Tie game at 20. Cochran outside, and Bush makes the grab for a 7-yard pickup.
They've got that all game, Cam, that the defense of Baltimore is focusing on the middle of the field, and if they wanted to, they could just dink and dunk it at will.
2nd and 3. You know who's been quiet? E.J. Minson. The tight ends at the beginning of the game were all about it. 13 yards on 1 catch on 3 targets. And by the way, Robert Merrill only 2 targets, 1 catch, 7 yards. Hand off. Doyle, get off of me. First down to the 48-yard line.
Holy
He's
mackerel.
been the difference in the second half, and he hurt the man. Tucker Lewis is down, and J.W. Doyle is personally responsible.
That's 240 pounds against 304 pounds of Tucker Lewis, and the small guy won on that one.
Yeah, check that. It was away from the play. I thought that was the guy that got burned there by Doyle, but it actually was up front on a takedown, and that was the center, James Joel Misty, who pulled him down. And that could hurt the pressure Baltimore's able to apply. 1st and 10 to the 48, handoff. Doyle again. Why not? J.W. Doyle has been a menace and the thorn in the side of Baltimore once more. Over 100 yards in back-to-back meetings, 2nd and 3.
Yeah, he's really come alive here in the second half, and Florida is so happy that he's contributing because they need him to get some positive gains.
If I was the Storm, with the way Doyle's running right now, I would just keep giving it to him until the clock runs out.
Yeah, definitely.
No need to do anything else. 2 backs, 2 receivers. They're going to do that. And Doyle's got a first down up to the 39-yard line. And with the way Doyle's running, I think Baltimore's only answer is to just let him score so they can get the ball back.
Yeah, definitely. Or, just put everybody up on the line and test them. I mean, because, he's averaging 8.4 yards a carry, and he's not being brought down by the first contact.
First down to the 39, I think just inside Ethan Snead's range. Cochran has been sacked twice tonight, both by Tucker Lewis. Clean pocket here, fires over the middle, pass caught, now definitely into field goal range. Robert Merrill with his 2nd catch, and now Baltimore's seriously going to have to consider how they're going to utilize these timeouts, because Florida is certainly in position to get a win.
Yeah, they're in the driver's seat right now, and I think they need to go as conservative as they can and not try and push it downfield. Just use Doyle as much as they can.
3:05 left. 2nd and 3 at the 32 and a tie game at 20. Doyle again. Joe Dazzo emphatically ends the run of Doyle 5-yard pickups. 3rd and 1.
Yeah, that was an all-star tackle right there of Doyle. Nobody's been able to bring him down at first contact. Nobody but Joe Dazzo on that play.
2:40 to go. This could be the final play before the 2-minute warning, and it could determine this entire game. Showing pressure. Back off. Cochran going to throw, and Doyle on the play of the night is wide open at the 25-yard line. Actually, it's Connor Weston this time. Florida fooled everybody.
Wow. Yeah, Connor Weston slipped out there to the side, and nobody on the defense of Baltimore's was expecting that pass.
Now a 9-play, 57-yard drive for Florida. And that will, no, they're going to snap the ball before the 2-minute warning. There's Weston again with a spin move down to the 18, but it saved Baltimore some time. Oh, could that be costly? Still tied at the eye. You're watching the Simulation Football League on 11 Sports at For the Fans. 1:57 to go. Action resumes tomorrow night starting at 7:30 Eastern with Queen City and St. Louis, Arizona. Vegas follows. Right now, it's Doyle with a first down to the 12.
Wow.
Timeout Baltimore, and now they're really in some trouble.
Definitely. When you can't bring the fullback down and they just keep running it up the middle, you're in big trouble. Got to use the timeouts like they did and maybe regroup and figure out a way to stop Doyle.
If I'm Baltimore, I just let them score and hope you win the toss in overtime. I mean, seriously. If they're not careful, Florida's just going to run this entire game out. In the backfield, it's Weston. No Doyle. Back to pass. Cochran. Down the middle. Caught Merrill. Down to the 1 yard line. And how brilliant was that play call? Because now it's 1st and goal at the 1, and now you have to let him score.
Robert Merrill has only been targeted 4 times tonight, but that was probably one of the most crucial catches of the season because it keeps them in playoff contention in scoring position.
Is that not brilliant coaching or what? I need you to get in between the 2 and the goal line for the most optimal situation, and the veteran Robert Merrill executes. Split backs, handoff, Doyle, touchdown. Boy, they didn't make it easy, but J.W. Doyle scores, and all of a sudden we're in a shootout.
Yep, we're looking at the game MVP so far. 2nd touchdown. He's got 122 rushing yards. And in this second half, Baltimore hasn't come up with any answer to stop him.
I cannot remember the last time, Charles, that we've called a game or that I've seen a game in the SFL where for 3 quarters you don't really know how it's going to go. And then in the 4th quarter, a single individual just takes over the entire ball game.
That's right. He did. And it's very impressive. And you got to, as a running back, you got to love it when the fullback steps up.
At one point, Doyle had 14 yards on 9 carries. He has 122 yards on 16 carries in the game. And remember, the previous meeting, he had 115 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. He's got 2 touchdowns on the ground tonight. So, boy, they have unleashed Doyle once more on the Baltimore Vultures. From the 3, Bolt down a touchdown, spins away, and then gets crushed at the 26-yard line. Baltimore has 1 minute and 42 seconds and 1 timeout to work with, and the last time they had the football, they drove 75 yards in 3 plays.
Yeah, and again, great special teams by Florida to hold that dangerous kick returner in place.
Next week, Baltimore hosts the reeling New Orleans Pharaohs at 4-7. Florida goes to Mexico City, who's now 5-6. A monstrous game, one of many on the Week 12 slate. Pass is caught, but short of the first down was Mike Montgomery with his first catch. No time to panic. Minute and a half to go.
Time.
Dazzo looking. Pass is dropped. It's picked off! That's the second time tonight we've seen a pass dropped into the arms of a defender, and that might have just ended the ball game.
Yeah, Ramel Hernandez just, I think, ended the hopes of Baltimore pulling away with this one, or even tying it, I guess. But that was a huge defensive stop by Florida.
And the chat erupts. To keep up with how your player and team are doing this season, visit simulationfl.net for standings, leaderboards, and sortable team stats. The Rookie Big Board is there, too, tracking the next superstars of the SFL. One of them's in the chat. I believe CO4 Show is starting in the minor league here in April. And with 1:22 on the clock, maybe there's time for a Giovanni Bolt return, but probably not. This game's over.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think at a minimum they're gonna get a field goal out of this, maybe.
If Florida gets to 5-6, there will now be 4 teams at 5-6. No timeouts left. We'll carefully watch the clock as Florida gets away from Baltimore, wants nothing to do with their smack talk.
Yeah, maybe it's a little out of the range of Snead at this point. His longest is 48, so
Well,
I removed that statement from the table.
I don't think they'd even want to kick it, honestly. Just
Yeah.
Agrippa's got such a big leg. His hang time on punts is usually about 5 seconds. And I think the hang time alone would probably end the football game at this point. As Cochran takes a knee, there's only going to be a 2-second differential, so they will have to snap it. The question is, I mean, Agrippa should just punt this thing out of bounds.
Definitely, yeah. Coffin corner, man. I think isn't Florida the only team with a contract kicker and punter?
Yep.
Yeah.
They know the value of special teams here, and Agrippa might just win him the game right here. If he can angle this punt out of bounds, but without it going out of bounds before the clock ends, Bolt will have no chance, and we know that Giovanni Bolt can do some things. Here it is. Agrippa punts it away. And
look at that hang time.
Oh, it didn't get out of bounds, but the return, he angled him into the corner, and Bolt had no chance. What a punt from Agrippa, and that ends the ball game.
Perfect punt.
Florida,
that's why you have a punter.
Florida gets to 5-6, and it's not often that we say that a game was won thanks to a punter. 385 yards of total offense for Florida, but almost all of it in the fourth quarter came from J.W. Doyle, who played his best game of his career.
Oh, definitely. No surprise here who should get the MVP of the game. It's Doyle. I mean, Cochran had a decent game. Yeah, the defense, they stood in there, but Doyle just put the team on his back and ran him into the end zone.
Now Baltimore goes into a 4-way tie at 7-4. You see that fumble there by Gaines. It ended up being inconsequential because of the next highlight, a McFly interception. But, I mean, what a game. Another thriller. Florida's now won 3 of 5 in the series. And Baltimore's got to lick their wounds, and who knows where the tiebreaker's going to slot them after tonight.
Yeah, they shut down, the Florida defense shut down T. Roy Gaines tonight, and that is a huge, huge feather in the cap.
26 yards on 15 carries.
Wow.
That is unheard of. Heck of a job by the Florida defensive unit. This Florida Storm team, man, if I'm Mexico City, I am very worried about playing this Storm squad next week. Here's what Florida's done in the last month. They just beat the Vultures. They beat the Charleston Predators. They're also 7-4. They beat the Tulsa Desperados, and they only lost by 6 to Vancouver and by 3 to Arizona. They also lost to Atlanta by 7 and Chicago by 10. This team looks totally different from the first month of the season, and they have beaten, at this point, 3 playoff teams in 3 straight weeks. And there you go. Player of the game officially, 116 yards on 16 carries, 2 touchdowns, 47 receiving yards for Doyle. Final thoughts, Charles.
Well, I mean, what a great game. Both teams, it was a pro boxing match the entire game, but Florida, I just think, outcoached Baltimore. They put the ball in the back of Doyle. He took it into the end zone. And what I'm really looking forward to, Cam, next week, the Florida Storm, they go to visit the Mexico City Aztecs. That's going to be a game.
For Robert Garrett Jr., Charles Doherty, I'm Cameron Irvine. Everyone back at 11 Sports and FTF headquarters. Thank you all for staying with us on this Mega Sunday. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Have a great night, everybody. Good night from Florida.